So here I have a Panasonic 3do FZ-10, and I'm gonna try and repair this machine here. I imported it from Japan, and so I have to use the 100 volts transformer here. And the problem here is that it doesn't read discs, and I already suspect what might be the issue and how to repair it, but I also wanted to record the full process, and I'm gonna just demonstrate that when you turn it on, it makes these noises. I suppose some kind of laser noises. It's really trying, but it can't read the disc, and eventually it will give up, and then it will just give you the basic logo and the menu. Yeah. So yeah, and you know, I don't claim I know exactly what's the issue here, but we can do several things to check if there is in fact a problem with the laser pickup or not. Okay, so the moment I opened this one up, I already found our first serious problem here, is that this thing seems to have been crawling with some kind of fleas, or I don't know what the hell is this, but you can actually see the remains of the bug on top of the lens. So I'm pretty sure... Oh, look, now it came off now that I was talking, and breathed into it a little bit. But yeah, this thing is nasty. Like you need to I need to clean it. I need to vacuum it, because there's just clearly there's been a lot going on, and I'm quite sure the mechanism is not in the best condition right now, and yeah, and I just don't want to touch it until I like vacuum everything. This side has a very good explanation on how to check and where to check the laser voltage, and I'm gonna show you the resistor that they're talking about is here. This one, R720. So basically you need to somehow measure these two terminals, two sides of the resistor with a multimeter, and turn on the laser and, you know, see what the voltage is, and then you have to calculate based on that what's the current that the voltage is using. So somewhere down below in these pages, this is actually from a Russian website, but it's been Google translated. So here he says the norm is between 38 up to 0.8 volts. So or in milliamps it's 38 up to 80 milliamps. So if you measure anything higher than that or lower than that, then this laser is not good. This laser pickup is not good. But if it's within limits, then according to that, it should be fine. Okay, so I'm ready for this test, and here I'm gonna be measuring the laser voltage. So all I need to do now is plug the power in. This is still connected. Oh, I like that the light flickered. Okay. And we have 0.4 volts. Okay. yeah, it still can't read it, but at least it's not making those beeping, crying noises like it did before. But yeah, according to this, the laser should be fine because it's about 40 milliamps, which is within range, within healthy range. And but now I think the problem lies within the capacitors. But I also want to shift my attention into this power supply because I still want to finish building replacement power supply because I don't want to be relying on this transformer all the time. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so I hooked up the oscilloscope and it seems this is the signal I'm getting. About 130 kilohertz, some type of square wave, I guess. And it says peak to peak is 16 volts, minimum 12, maximum 4. Yeah. So I suppose that kind of signal we need to recreate. Okay, so I finally finished building the power supply and I figured out how to make it work with this Panasonic FZ-10. And I have also repaired the CD drive, and if you remember when I tested it, I said we tested it with the multimeter and it showed that the laser was okay, and it was indeed okay, because the way to fix it was simply to recap this CD drive section here. All of these caps I have replaced, and also there's one under it. You can't see it right now, but that one, it was a bit too big, so I had to bend it. But yeah, and this actually did it, and as well as the square wave and the negative voltage that it needs to turn on, I have figured it out as well, and I have made a small circuit. I might actually share it on GitHub or somewhere because it's quite a simple circuit, but I made it by hand here and put a bunch of hot glue, so you know you can't really see how many components is there. But anyway, I wanted to show you that it works now as a demonstration that I'm not just making things up here. So here we go. Let me switch the channel, and you can see we've got image, the console booted, and yeah, there it's complaining that there's no disk, and I will now try to play this game. It's actually quite a scratched disk, so it takes a while to boot. Well, I'm not actually sure if it's normal for it to boot longer than consoles of this era. But anyway, if you remember, it couldn't read it before, this same disk, but now it's actually doing something to it, and it's reading it, and you can hear it. It's definitely reading it, and there's some logo on the screen, and it takes a while to boot the game, you know, before the menu appears, but it's definitely working. Yeah, there we go. And I don't have sound right now. I didn't connect it to the TV, but you can see the menu booted, and now this system seems to be able to play discs again. So now I could, the last thing I could probably do is to add a 240p switch, because this model seems to have the chip that might allow it. and yeah, and then it's done. So I'm gonna try to boot the race if I can. I'm actually pressing button with my foot here. There's a lot of intros. And there we go. Yeah, it's working. And now I can play this game if my hands were free. But yeah, that's the restoration and the way to fix these machines. So for countries in the 230 volts region, we always have to replace the power supply so that there's no need for the power transformer, which is really annoying to use. So yeah, I think I'm gonna build a few of these if anybody needs one. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to show today. Thanks for watching.